Understanding research results. Dear students, from the beginning we started various aspects of a research design. For example, we started that within social sciences we begin with a problem, right? And when we define a problem, we need variables, and then in order to collect data, we should have a very valid, very reliable instrument or data collection procedure. It could be an observational procedure or a questionnaire or a survey form, whatever it is, right? In this session, we are going to talk about the understanding of research results, right? When you are done with the data collection, you have the results, and now it's the time to write down your section, which is called a result section in a thesis or maybe in a paper. Okay, so this point that how would you write down your results section, or how would you evaluate your results, how would you present your results, or how would you come up with explaining your results, right? So that's the the session. This is the session in which we are talking about the understanding of research results. Okay. Research results really requires critical evaluation. A good researcher is a person who can evaluate very critically the results of the study. Okay, and that is when you determine that whether your data answers the research question or questions or not. So that's the crucial point, that once you're done with data collection, you are in a position to critically evaluate that whether your results, your data, which you have collected, that really address your research questions or not. Okay, so that's the starting point. And while discussing your results, and we know this because we earlier discussed that we have primarily two kinds of questions in social sciences research. Okay. What questions and why questions. So let me just reiterate those major kinds of questions: what questions and why questions, and something about them. Okay, what questions are giving us information. Okay, like for example, it could be a very descriptive sort of study, and we would have some new information, which is based on what question. Like for example, what phenomenon is really important, or what phenomenon does exist. Okay, so this is something which could be collected, which could be achieved while using what kind of questions. Okay, another aspect which is covered while using what types of question is that what contexts are important, right? So what information based on what phenomenon is important, and what contexts are important. So in what context, what phenomenon really exists. Okay, and then what relationships or relationship are there. Okay, so what relationship or relationships exist. Okay, so these these are the kinds of information which are collected while using what kind of questions. Okay, what phenomenon, what context, and what relationship. Okay, so these are sort of information which are collected while using what kind of questions. Then we have why questions. Why questions are basically addressed on information which are related to reasons. For example, causes. Okay, so why, like what are the causes and how those causes, why those causes are behind phenomena. Okay, so particularly thinking about why, right? The causal relationship, that why particular causes do particular sort of actions, and why do we have particular causes, or why do we have particular results, why do we have something which is there. So why And within why, we evaluate the nature of certain relationship, that why a particular kind of relationships exist. So these are two major kinds of questions which are the basis for social sciences research. Okay, what and why. When we have collected data, in either case, it may be what or it may be why, we have data which is either verbal, okay, it could be like verbal data, or it could be numerical, right? So verbal, numerical, and there is a third possibility with which may be including both of them together. Okay, so verbal, numerical, or both. So we can have these three kinds of data. So then the question is, we have data whether it is verbal or numerical or both. Okay, the point is that how would we use particular procedures in order to analyze that results, those data which have been collected through various procedures, right? So it's not only the question that how to proceed, but the how to proceed includes various sub-questions, that how to present the data. So the data presentation is also one question which is to be addressed, and then how to analyze. So presentation, analysis, and then what kind or kinds of statistical tests are to be used, right? So we need to evaluate, we need to come up with some questions and of course with the answers before finalizing our section of the study, which is called results section. Okay, so we are required to answer these questions, and the point is that why should we and why would we answer these questions? So the first point is that a researcher must know how to write down research results, and the second is that how to read research results. When you are reading literature, when you are reading, for example, a research paper, how would you read the section which is based on results? Okay, and then how to critically evaluate the result section of a study. It could be a thesis or a research paper, right? So the aim is that as a researcher, you must know how to write down the section of results, right? And then how to read the result section, and then how to critically evaluate and provide your expert opinion, right? So these three are the objectives. And the point is that we must be able to understand research results. And once we are able to use research results, we could be good researchers. So we'll continue with this discussion in our next session.